Want to grow your business without investors? I'm going to show you how I've done it 3 times. In this video, I'll give you 4 keys to bootstrap any business to real profitability. So my bootstrapping journey was not glamorous. There were no big VC rounds, no flashy offices. Well, there was one fancy office, but that was a mistake. I'll describe. Really, what I did was just scrape it together, starting out with credit card charges, sleepless nights, worrying about making payroll, just getting the staff paid. I wasn't getting paid for a long time. But what did this teach me? First of all, a lot of mistakes, which I'm going to share today. But it also taught me how to build a resilient and lean team that's designed to make customers happy instead of spending my time trying to chase investors, making other people happy instead of me, the owner, as happy as possible and the customers as happy as possible. So here are the 4 keys that I learned along the way on how to bootstrap an enterprise to success. Key number 1 is to nail the product market fit first. So I made a really big mistake when I started my agency business, and that was trying to scale the business before really nailing what the customers wanted. Now, what happened was 2 years of the most painful, unprofitable grind I've had in my entire career. I was doubting myself. I was doubting the business. I was doubting everything. It was really awful. So I have a new rule, and that is to not even think about scaling before I've nailed a product that users truly love. And I measure that with, are they referring the business? Are they actually coming back for more? Do they have a really long amount of time that they stick with me? Are they ordering a second time? Depends on the kind of business. But the rule is I don't think about scaling before I've nailed a product that almost sells itself, because that makes everything else easier instead of pushing money and effort and staff at something and pushing a rock uphill. If you have limited resources, which is what bootstrapping is all about, going too big too early is a quick path to just letting a bunch of cash on fire, ask me how I know, and just burning yourself out as well. So I do things very differently now. I stay super scrappy. I do not overspend on scaling and ads and all those things until I see the customers super excited with what I'm offering. I just keep on testing until I find that fit of a compelling offer with a market that wants it badly. So the second key that I've learned is to hire really carefully. So when cash is tight, one wrong hire can tank the whole operation. So my first attempt to hire a COO, I thought, okay, we're finally big enough, got a bunch of staff. I need someone to keep all of the trains running on time. That first attempt to hire one, it was a terrible fit. Now, I'll go into that in another video because it's a fun and depressing and awful story. And that only lasted a couple of months, that hire, and it nearly killed the whole business. In fact, she actually started a mutiny in the staff and tried to hijack the entire business, like literally tried to steal the business from me. And it took me over a year to repair that damage. It's something that I never want to experience again. So my new rule for this is to move slowly, and I'm not afraid now to leave roles open until I find an A+ candidate. I would rather slow down than hire a B- candidate, or in this case, like an F- candidate trying to hijack business from me. That's ridiculous. So how I do this is I have a trial period for each new hire, and I really set forth very clearly what are the success criteria for this role. So you want to know in that first 90 days, are they hitting it or are they not hitting it? And I have to keep myself honest about evaluating this new person against that criteria, because it's really easy to let things slide. Right? It's easy to hire someone, you're just running a million miles an hour, your hair's on fire, and hire someone's like, finally, I've got some help. And then you hire this person and then you just say, here, take care of this. But you haven't taken the relatively short amount of time, right? This can take literally under an hour to think through what does success look like for this person? And then hold yourself accountable to, is this person actually the right fit? Because here's the interesting thing. I found that if someone really isn't just killing it in the first 60 days, it's just not going to get better. And you probably have the wrong person. And it's better to rip off the Band-Aid fast and just let them go. Find another person than it is to just muddle through. That's doing nobody any favors. The rest of your staff doesn't like it either. So just really pay attention to that would be my recommendation. Key number 3 is to not scale too fast. Now, this is related to the other one about finding product market fit and not going too fast on your staff. But I find that there's a huge temptation that you get an inflow of cash, you get some new customers, and there's this idea that, well, now I've got this cash, now I need to spend it on rapid expansion. So you've maybe been running really lean for a while, and all of a sudden all this cash comes comes in and it feels like you've unlocked this magical source of new demand. It's like, look, I got all this money. Now I can really grow. And now you go and you spend it on a bunch of new hires, maybe a better office, whatever you spend it on. And how do I know this? Well, I did this with a $15,000 a month downtown office that nobody ended up showing up to. So you can get into this pattern where it's like you see all this cash coming in. It's like, okay, now this is finally catching. I got it. But here's the thing that you have to realize, and that is the sudden virality of the business is actually incredibly rare. In actuality, it might just be a blip, right? Because some months are great, some months aren't. And you might just have everything converging on 1 or 2 really good months. And it's going to reset your mind to think that you can spend to that cash flow, when in actuality, after those couple of months, it's going to go back down again. It's going to revert to the mean. So you want to fight the urge to overspend and preserve cash. That's what I've been learning about this. Just because you can hire 10 new employees, it doesn't mean that you should. So often I feel better off focusing on improving delivery before expanding. Moving fast will matter, but not as much as moving smart. What I'll do now is, okay, all this extra cash came in. Well, that means I've got clients to service. So how do I use some of that to reinvest in my existing team, to make processes better, to make things better for customers? And then I can turn to, if this cash flow continues, then I'll start to hire. But now that I've got better process, I'm going to be doing a better job. It's going to be easier for the new staff. So everyone wins that way. So now I take a beat, and now the business is less likely to have a cash crunch in the future because I've actually been more disciplined about not trying to scale too fast. Number 4, the fourth key on bootstrapping, is to own my failures. Mistakes will drain your life force, the company's life force, which is cash. And very often I will make mistakes, because if you're not making a lot of mistakes, you're probably not trying that hard. So when I make a mistake, I often can have my ego get in the way. Right? Well, of course that's a good decision. And why wouldn't it be? Like a bullheaded, just keep on going and going and going. And I'm also fighting my sunk cost bias, right? I've spent all this time, all this money trying things, and I want them to work out, because ever the optimist, I want things to work out. A lot of us entrepreneurs are just so optimistic. But like, how could my idea be stupid? Well, the fact is, a lot of my ideas are stupid. It's just, I have to try a lot of things and check my ego and say, okay, put my ego aside, admit something isn't working. And I needed a reframe, and the reframe that I came to is that failure is my friend. So I just view that failure, that money that I spent, the effort that I spent, as tuition that I paid for an invaluable lesson. So the process that I learn to use is called an AAR, an after action review. So for after every initiative, both successful and unsuccessful, I get better by asking questions about what went wrong, what went right, what could we do different next time? And then I can apply those insights to make smarter choices the next time. So the bottom line for all of this and all of these keys to bootstrapping is that there might be a thrill of raising a huge round from A-list investors. And early in my career, I went down that path. It sounds enticing, but for me, the downsides have made it really unattractive, because I actually now, with the benefit of hindsight and the benefit of the learnings and those after action reviews that I did, it forces me to unlock creativity. And as a result, I can really be my own agent of change and agent of success in a business. It's all on me. And that is super rewarding when you get it right, because if you can turn that profit while self-funding, you have so much freedom to build the company that you want, not what an investor or someone else tells you to do.